Hey guys, it's Rebecca, and we're back under saddle, yay! So this is my other guy, the big guy, the long, the dirty guy, and he had time off too for the same reasons, because you have some dirt behind your ear that I didn't see and I missed, because we've had some horrible weather. So this is his day first back under saddle too. So you're going to get to see how exactly I start him up and get him going for the season also, and it's going to be similar as far as just a little walk trot today. We probably aren't going to let him stretch quite as deep because he's a little harder to package, but we are going to want him to kind of get him loose and stretching and moving around a little bit. So not a lot of expectations, just like the other horse, and we're just kind of going to go at it, and I'm going to see what I feel and kind of talk to you guys as I'm doing it. I know he looks a little bit like a ragamuffin right now. We had to shave his stifles, and we've had some blanket issues, and we're having a hard time getting rid of these rubs on his shoulders. So that kind of sucks. But here we are, and we're trying to get ourselves back organized for spring. So, all right, let's see what he feels like, and I'll just kind of talk you guys through what I'm doing. So this guy loses a little bit more of that core strength when he's out, just because he's so big and long and there's so much to him. He has this, really big neck, but he can make that look pretty and kind of keep the rest of his body out of the scenario. So I have a feeling today we're going to just be doing some stuff that's going to help him kind of reattach his body parts back together. So it's going to be a little different than what we did with the other horse. And as you see, he very nicely fakely goes on the bit. So he's a little more advanced too. So some of the things that I can do to kind of loosen him up are a little bit different. So it's a little turn on the haunches, which helps him kind of connect that butt into his body a little bit, and then we'll go back out and do a little free walk. But you see right away that he kind of, his like hind legs connected in, and now they're not connected in, so I'm going to bring the reins back up and do a turn on the haunches to the right. A little overbent there, a little behind the vertical, but that is because he also has had time off. That's better, bud. And then stretch back out and walk. So this is more about getting the hind legs a little more active with him and not having him just look pretty up front, but to actually build the bridge. And we have to build that differently with this horse than we have to build it with the other one. And so our idea of how we're going to do that is going to be different with this horse. So I'm going to pick the reins back up again, give him a little awareness of some hind legs. Good. We're going to leg yield over. And now I'm going to ask for a little shoulder 4. And again, because that allows me to get that inside leg on him, and ask for a little inside hind leg. And then I'm going to let him go again, because again, he's not fit, right? So I can't ask for a ton of it. He doesn't have the fitness. So, but I do want to build that awareness. I want to start from day 1. So I'm going to bring him up again, and we're just going to go shoulder 4 for, 7 to 10 strides, because this is not hard for him. He knows this. It's just a matter of getting his body back, doing it again, and then back down. So way different than the last horse's warm up. One is education level, two is what I'm feeling. What did I feel exactly? When I first sat on him, I felt like the middle was sinking and the front and the back were popped up. And that's the direct opposite. I need the middle to lift and I need the back end to sit. And the front end to not pose. And he can be a little bit of a poser up front. So, he'll be like, oh, I'm so archy-necked. I'm so beautiful. But it's not real because he doesn't have it coming all the way through his back. And I don't want him to get too deep up front. We're going to circle here because I want a leg yield. I want to do the same exercise I did in the other direction, but he was coughing and so I was talking disorganized, basically. Yeah, sort it out. That's a good job. But I need him to, to not pose. I need him to build that bridge, but I can't just send him forward to build the bridge. He's not fit. So I got to figure out other ways to build the bridge. So a little leg yield, a little half hot on the little right thigh. Yeah, to get the shoulder 4. But now I want the left hind to come up and be a little more active, even if it's just for a couple strides. Good. And then walk on. Yeah. And I'll let out the reins again. Even if he splats, it's okay because how do we build? We don't build by forcing them into a position. We build with these exercises and by giving him the proprioception of how to carry himself. And a little leg yield to the shoulder 4, shoulder in. I want a little left hand, left hand, left hand. Yeah, there you go. Good job, bud. Good. And then I'll let him back out again. So, I hope you can see. Now that's a better walk. Now he's not splatting as much. He's not posing up front. He's got his hind legs marching a little bit better. He's swinging my seat forward as he walks. And I don't feel so much that I'm in the sinkhole of his back and that everything else is higher than me. I should feel like he's coming up underneath of me and pushing me up, right? Now, of course, what creates that? Fitness creates that, number 1, which he doesn't have right now. And he does not go around the field in a biomechanically good way. So it's not like he's going to build that being out on his own. And the other thing is that, we have to be able to build the bridge with him, but you have to do it in a way that he's not just going to pose. And so that's when you have to kind of sometimes get a little creative about the exercise. And yeah. And if he starts walking too fast, I don't want to have to put him together to slow him down. I don't want to have to put you together to slow you down. So what I'll do with him is I kind of alternate leg yield one way, leg yield the other way. Again, more sophisticated because he has a little bit more training. So then he gets into this, my legs are walking fast, but my back isn't moving. And I don't want that either, right? That's not, and that's when it really helps to kind of do haunches in or turn on the haunches or something that makes him slow his legs down a little and articulate them and also moves his back around. His lumbar has to move if he's doing haunches in. And I'm not going to have him hold it because, again, he's not fit. So I let him back out again. But this is his weaknesses coming out. And so I'm going to pick him back up. And right away, it's giving him time to sort of pose and get to where I don't want him to be. I'm just going to go ahead and put him in haunches in this direction. Yeah. And it's a pretty steep haunches in because, well, 1, he knows it. And 2, that's what really helps him separate his legs and be able to slow down a little bit because he'll keep his back tight and speed his legs up and pose with his neck. That's kind of what he does, especially if he's not fit. But that's what he does when the work is harder. And of course, horses like this, they have to build their core. He's so big, he has to have a core. So now what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go from haunches in to haunches out. And I'm just going to keep moving this body part around so that he has to really use his core to do this. And then I'm just going to let him free walk again. So all this like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, there we get a better walk. So get a little more freedom, and he's not posing. And I don't mind him being low as long as he's not flat in his back and dumping on the forehand, right? So that's the difference between long and low or connected and low. If he's just dumping around on the forehand, that doesn't do us anything for building the bridge. But if he's actually just stretching out to the bit, and like right now, he is on the forehand, as opposed to before, he was stretching out. And so I'm going to put a little pause in here as I shorten the reins. Yeah, I know. Yeah, good job, bud. Good job. And you see, he self-organizes himself. I don't have to really do a lot. Once I put him into the exercises, he knows the exercises, so he self-organizes really well. It's a little too steep, bud. There you go. Good job. And then we'll go back this way. And then what happens is a little off the left shoulder. There you go. Good. And then when I drop the reins, I get a nice walk. But then he can't hold it because he'll get like half a circle and then he'll start dumping on the forehand. And that's all fitness. So we'll just do a little tiny bit of I have a feeling he's going to be perchy up front. He's going to have the beautiful neck position, but it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to get over his back. And I'm just going to try and make that a little bit better, but I'm not going to try and make it perfect today. So just so you know, we're gonna go slow. That's the one thing with him right now, is it's really easy to drive this horse forward. And I'm not going to worry about his head right now. I'm going to worry about tempo and straightness or bend, right? I'm not going to worry about his face, because what I don't want him to do is exactly what he's doing right now, which is, oh, his head's down, but now he's behind my leg and he's perching. So I'd rather him kind of go hunter style right now and not perch, not look like he's on the bit when he's really not on the bit. And so this is a really good lesson in first rides. 2 months off. Yeah, clear that gunk out of your chest. Good. And I don't want him to perch. Oh, but I don't want you speeding up either. I'm half-hauling big time with my seat right now, because I don't really want to have control via the reins, because I don't want him to perch. I don't want him to just brace his neck into a position. There you go. Good job. Good. So we got the tempo back. That's it. Now I need a little more bend. Bend left. Yeah, good job. And see, the front end irons himself out when I've got everything else okay. So we're going to keep his tempo for the warm-up a little slow, but that's so that he has time to work through his body. One horse that is actually easier, he's easy to get the gaits big, super easy to get the gaits big. So we need to give him time to articulate and to find his body and to put his big body together. Good. And I'm going to go back to the walk and let him walk for a second. We need to give him time to be able to put his body together and not just push for big gaits. he can go forward and he can keep his positioning in the forward. That's the easy part. The part that's harder with a big horse like this is organizing him and keeping him on my aids. And so for that, we need strength, and for that, we need slow work. Now, if it was a horse that was really lazy and you couldn't get to go forward, I'd be more concerned that he would get behind my leg while I was doing this work, keeping him slow, and I would be maybe, reinforcing him not going forward, but not with this horse. This horse has got plenty of go. No. Yeah. So I'm just gonna get a little off this left leg. That's it, good. And then a little off the right leg. Good. There you go. I don't want you to fix your neck and look pretty. There, good job. See, you can feel it. You can feel it probably more than you can see it when he just kind of fixes his neck and says, well, if I look like this, I'm doing it right. And it's like, no, we're not going for look. We're going for feel. And then we're going to go back up in this direction. And again, I'm just on alignment and tempo. And when he's aligned and he's on my seat and not rushing, and he has to hold himself back, and because he can get strong, he can get big and strong and holding himself. And I'm just going to ask for a little more bend here in this direction. I think that will help him out a little bit. Yeah, that helps you organize your big body a little. Not too much. No haunches in. Yeah, good job. Good job. A little more bend. Yeah, good job. Sometimes he gets like too straight. He's really easy to ride straight, like anatomically straight. But then it doesn't help him hold himself together. And a nice rib cage bend really helps him organize. And now he's like nicely going forward, not too forward. And he's being nice and light. Ooh, not the greatest transition, but again, we are just our first day back. So that actually felt better, going to the right. Keep walking. No, we're not. So very, very different than the other horse that I brought out as far as warm up and what we're doing. And I'm just going to, good job, do that one more time. Maybe change direction while we're in the gate. See, that's posing. That's what I do not want. So he immediately kind of goes into that, I'm not strong enough, I'm going to pose. And I'm like, no, we don't want posing. We don't want posing. Posing is for the camera, not for dressage. How's that for the little goofy saying of the day? And he's posing right there in the trot too. But again, I'm not going to care, because what am I going to worry about? I'm going to worry about tempo and alignment. And now that I've got him a little bit better, I'm going to think about bend. Yeah, and then he can't pose. If he's doing all those, it's really hard for him to pose and to just get his neck involved but leave his back out of it. So we're going to change direction. And pose a little bit here, but that's okay. Again, new direction, establish tempo, establish alignment. Yeah, a little more difficult this direction. That's okay. And now I'm going to ask for a little more bend in this direction. Yeah, a little more left leg. Yeah, good job. Yeah, left leg. Yeah, good. Shoulder and spine. Good. Good. Good job. Yeah, that's difficult, I know. He's like, oh my, I kind of liked my winter break. Who wants to come back to work? Good. Yeah, push through that. Yes, good job. Good job. Come back to the walk. Good job. I like that walk. Good job. And free walk. And that's it for him today. So that was the first. Oh, he's like, don't I get sugar for all that effort? Here. Good. That's first day back. That is, working through the kinks. Where was he holding? He was holding his back. More so than Jovi was for having the time off. He was really struggling with, he's like, oh, I can look pretty in the neck, but it wasn't going through his body at all. And we just had to work with that. And we worked with that differently. We worked with that, not with things like leg yields and I don't have any more. I know. He's like, well, you're messing in your pocket, so you got to have something. Not with leg yields in small circles, but with haunches in and shoulder in and turn on the haunches and things like that that really help him connect his hind legs and build that bridge up into the neck. Because, yeah, you've got a beautiful, gorgeous neck, but let's have it be honest. All right, so I hope that was helpful. And, guys, thanks so much for being patient with me over the past 2 months of just sort of a little more inconsistency than normal and, not being able to get out and ride and kind of keep this going the way that I want to. I will go back to the little series that I started behind the desk, basically, and not under saddle, because those concepts about movement is really, really important to apply out here in the arena. So if you hear that there, then when we apply it here, you'll understand it all the better. And I know you're like, these guys are so itchy, they're shedding so much, which maybe that, across my fingers, that means we're going to have a really early spring. I hope so. We've had a brutal winter. All right, thanks guys. Great seeing you. See you next time.